All right, guys, I am back with another video to preview the Players' Championship that's upcoming this weekend. Um, as always, we'll do a recap of the last tournaments, the Arnold Palmer Invitational, where if you tailed me, you definitely made some money. My picks have been really great lately. Locks moved to 9-2 all time. And then, as always, the video will include a course preview, breakdown of some players, and my picks and predictions for this weekend that will hopefully make us some money. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so let's do an Arnold Palmer Invitational recap. Winner, Scotty Scheffler. It was a crazy, crazy Sunday where a lot of people shot over par. The average score for the entire tournament was 2 over. So lowest scoring tournament this entire season so far. Conditions were crazy. Wind was crazy. And that definitely played an effect into the player scores. In terms of how we bet it, my picks went 4 out of 5. Really great. Lock of the week hit. Moves to 9-2 all time, and the golf locks moved to 12.22 units all time. So some bets that hit. We got Corey Connors, top 30, plus 145, top 20 plus 145. I told you guys he is not super long off the tee, but he was really dialed in from that 200-yard range. So great ball striker, got the job done, won the bet. Next one, Adam Scott, who I was all over. Told you if I wasn't going to make Viktor Hovland my lock, this was going to be it. So Adam Scott, top 30, minus 110. And then Viktor Hovland, top 10, told you I was going to sprinkle on him, plus 240. And then obviously the lock of the week, minus 110 for Viktor Hovland, top 20. The one pick that didn't win was Rory Mcilroy, top 10. I told you I was going to sprinkle half a unit onto him. He was the first-round leader, and then he kind of fell apart as the conditions got tough and finished tied 13th. So one stroke off of hitting that and going 5 for 5. All right, so you can see here Tpc Sawgrass, where the Players takes place. You can see the iconic 17th hole par 3 island green. The Players is what they call the 5th major in golf, so the biggest tournament that isn't a major. Looking forward to it. A very, very strong field. And like I mentioned, it's a Tpc Sawgrass out in Florida. And so, they stay in Florida. The PGA Tour stays in Florida. Unpredictable weather sometimes, a lot of water, a lot of courses like this. We'll get into that a little bit later. It's playing 7,200 yards, par 72. And, ideally what I think wins here is off the tee and approach. So the strokes gained category is what I really look at, try to find guys that, meet that criteria and are trending in the right direction. So when it comes to off the tee, you want to be in the middle of the fairway. It's not just driving distance. It's middle of the fairway too. So with Florida, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of bad weather, a lot of rain. And so especially in those like very wet conditions where they might have a lift in place and set, it's really important to not just drive the ball far, but also hit in the middle of the fairway. And then lastly, that approach game is, consistently was one got people to win here, and putting hasn't mattered as much. And hence that's why JT won the last tournament. He's so good with those irons. I mean, his putter has never been known to be really great. So that's something to keep in mind, trying to find those guys that are really good off the tee, really good on approach, and maybe they don't necessarily have the best putter or don't have the putter going for them. And so that's something we'll look at as we get further into this video. Okay, so let's now get into some past winners. So last year, like I mentioned, JT won this tournament at 14 under, hit some really clutch long iron shots throughout the tournament, played really well. He's been like the face of the Players for the past year because he won it. The year prior got canceled after the first round because of COVID, but then 2019, Rory Mcilroy won at 16 under, and then the previous year, Webb Simpson won at 18 under. I kind of expect somewhere around, the weather's going to play such a large role in this, but, I expect somewhere around 14, 16 under, somewhere in that range. Really, really, really dependent on the weather, though. Okay, and here are the odds as of Monday night for the Players, with Collin Morikawa being the favorite at plus 1,100. When I said what wins is off the tee, which I'm pretty sure strokes gained 8th in, approach, whichever knows how good Morikawa's approach is. I've said this before on this channel. The stat that I love the best is that Collin Morikawa Morikawa is on average just as good as at the average tour player is with their pitching wedge than he is with his 6-iron. So if you give Collin Morikawa a 6-iron from however many yards out that is, and an average tour player their pitching wedge, he is most likely going to get it close to them, if not the same distance. So that's a crazy stat. JT, the returning champion, defend his title. Jon Rahm, world number 1. Victor Hovland, who's been playing some really good golf and who was my lock of the week last week. Rory and Cantlay. Rory's a returning winner. Scotty Scheffler, who's won 2 out of his last 3 starts. Schauffele hasn't played a little golf in a while. I think the last one probably was the Phoenix Open. He hasn't been playing amazing. Up to Xander Schauffele, what he has been able to play at. Hideki, Cam Smith, who hasn't been playing a lot of tournaments, he was almost a guaranteed top 20 whenever he'd play. Haven't really seen that lately. DJ, I think this is, DJ hasn't been playing amazing as well. Berger, who made some noise recently, then ends out with Shane Lowry, Matt Fitzpatrick, Spieth, and Sungjae. So now let's get into some of the players that I really like this week. First starting with Jon Rahm. Okay, world number 1, Jon Rahm. You guys know I've always been big on Jon Rahm. He hasn't been playing up to Jon Rahm standards the past few weeks, I'd say. So his odds to win are 1,300. Usually I think most of the time he'd be a favorite considering he's the world number 1, but the way he's been playing lately has been amazing. The last 4 tournaments, the last week tied 17th, tied 21st the week prior, and then tied 10th, tied 3rd. So we're not trending the best direction, but what really is just hurting him is his putter, which is something, and his short game in general. So around the green and putting has hurt him, which has generally not been the case for Jon Rahm. He still is first in strokes gained off the tee this season on the tour, second in strokes gained approach. It's just his putter and his strokes gained around the green that are killing him. And so like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, it might not be someone that has an amazing putter that wins this tournament, but wins the strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained approach. And maybe he'll roll in some putts, but that's why I like him. I think if this was a course where, strokes gained putting is pretty up there, then I wouldn't necessarily take him this week. But he's definitely someone that I evaluated and heavily considered, taking and putting my money on. Okay, so next we got Rory. Rory was the first round leader in last week's tournament. He's a past winner here. He's a great ball striker, can bomb the ball off the tee, pretty accurate as well. So his odds to win this week are 1,900. And then his last 2 tournaments have been a tied 13th and a tied 10th. And then before then, he was also playing pretty well out in Dubai. So I like the way that he's trending. Unfortunate, last 3 days of the Arnold Palmer. I think if he just held his 7-shot, 7 under first day, he would have won the tournament. But obviously really hard to do with the average scoring being 2 over. But when you look at some of Rory's stats, 2019 players first, and then his strokes gained off the tee is .947. I don't think he has enough rounds registered this season for him to have a legitimate place. But I was looking, if he was in a place, it would be second right behind Jon Rahm in strokes gained off the tee. So definitely a great ball striker off the tee, can hit fairways and bound the ball. So he's someone I will look at when analyzing odds for this tournament. And then next, we're covering Collin Morikawa, the favorite to win this tournament. Everyone knows how good of a ball striker he is, especially with the approach. And so his odds are plus 1,100. And then his last tournament was the Genesis, finishing tied second. He's been playing some really good golf this year. Something that I want to call out, though, is that his putting. So the reason Collin hasn't broke through in a way is that his putter has been really holding him back. But this season he's been putting like crazy, rolling in a bunch of putts, and his strokes gained putting is tied 4th on tour. Off the tee is 4th as well, and then his approach is 8th. He's playing really good golf and rightfully deserves the favorite to win this tournament. All right, so let's get into some of my picks and what I'll be betting. You guys know I like to do a top 10, top 20, top 30, sometimes top 40, depending on the event. And then always a first round leader because you can't beat that value. And then I actually have a prize picks pick for you guys at the end as well, which I've been doing pretty well on. So stick around for that. When you come to the top 10, it's kind of hard with this type of tournament. 47 out of the 50 top golfers in the world are in this field. So, the top 10 gets a little, convoluted. So I wouldn't really take any of those top guys. I feel like it's a little too much of a gamble. But if you wanted to find some value, I think Will Zalatoris at plus 410 would be a really good play here. I'm not sure if I'm going to take him yet, but if you look at what I've talked about in this video, it's off the tee and approach, which he's an elite ball striker. He's really good in both those categories. And the thing that holds him back is the putter. And at this tournament, I'm telling you, the putter doesn't matter as much. So he's someone to look into. And then we'll look at top 20, which, same order here, but different odds. Someone that I would look at here is Viktor Hovland or Rory Mcilroy. I really think, they both have been playing really good golf. Viktor, was one putt away from sending last week's tournament to a playoff. Rory is a past winner here, who also had the outright lead by 2 strokes at last week's tournament as well at one point. No one else I'd really look at in the top 20, but for top 30, Viktor Hovland again, it's still pretty even money, minus 105. I look at him, and then Daniel Berger. So Daniel Berger has been playing some pretty good golf, 4th at the Honda Classic recently, and he is really good on his approach. I think he's like 3rd on the tour, or top 10 on the tour in his approach, and he's really good strokes gained tee to green. And so I'm making him the lock of the week at plus 105 to finish top 30. And then if I wasn't going to make him the lock of the week, I'd make Viktor Hovland minus 105 to finish top 30. It's a big event. I think he's going to show up and go pretty low. And then lastly, leader after round 1. So you guys know I like doing leader after round 1. It's really good value. And what I like to do is look at who has an early tee time on the first day, because that's when the greens are a little more receptive, and who kind of fits the course well, who's known to go low. So if you look on the right side here, I'm going to go with Will Z, Cam Smith, and Joaquin Niemann. I'm going to put a little bit on them each. They all have early tee times, all pretty good ball strikers actually, and all have been known to go really low on any given day. So that's who I'll be taking for first round leader. And then with prize picks, professional picks, doing a promo with them, they'll match your first deposit up to $100 if you use the code PROPICKS. We love prize picks here at Professional Picks, the best daily fantasy app in the game right now. They have the built-in promo, which is you can either play a flex play or a power play. You guys have heard me talk about this. Just remember to use that value and use that promo code with ProPicks, so they match you up to your first $100. Definitely give it a try. I really like it. Been hitting a lot of bets on it, and the PGA Tour has been, they had a lot more selection as of late. So what I'm going with here is Jon Rahm over 13.5 fairways in his first round. Like I showed you guys, he is really elite off the tee and really elite with the approach. So 13.5 greens in regulation. So, and then I'm going to do Viktor Hovland, which was over 10 fairways hit. He was the most accurate driver last week at Arnold Palmer Invitational. So I expect him to keep that up and hit his fairways. And I'm going to be doing a power play with that. So if I put 1 unit down, I win 2. Fully pays out 3. That's it for today. Let's make some money this weekend. And remember to like and subscribe if you guys are liking this content and you want to see more of it.